Hi, welcome to Chat with Kat. My name is Kathy. This is my channel and I love to chat. Well, I'm so glad you joined me today. I just wanted to go over a little background of this video before I get started. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, specifically AuthorTube, and there are a lot of great writing advice videos from a lot of great people on YouTube. And I have learned so much over the last, I'd say, year or so since I started watching these videos, and it's really helped me grow as a writer. But I was kind of bummed because I was looking specifically for Christian author writing tips, and they're very hard to find, and the few that labeled themselves that were actually talking about Christian books, like reviews and what they thought of it and stuff. And so those are not the writing tips that I'm looking for. And so I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna do a video today because I am a Christian author. I write my faith into my books, and so I thought maybe somebody else could use some help with that as well. So the topic I want to cover today is 5 things you should not do as a Christian author. Now, some of these are going to be a little pet peevey, but in general, these are some things that you should probably follow if you call yourself a Christian author. Number 1 is going to be, don't be graphic. Now, what I mean by that is sex, which I don't know if YouTube will censor it out if I say the word. So do not put those scenes in your Christian novel. You don't have to be graphic to imply that someone is doing something like that. You know, you can lead up to it with all the way up, you know, like they're kissing or whatever, and then just leave the rest of it to the imagination. You don't have to go there. That's what separates pornography from a rated PG movie, is the details. So whatever you do as a Christian author, do not add those in your book, because most Christians that I know, they don't really want to read those things. Number 2, don't cuss. I know this is a biggie. I've heard it said, yeah, but you have to be real. You have to, no, you don't, because as a Christian, I don't want to read those words. I'm trying to keep my mind a little holier, pure, centered on God, and they really don't add anything to the story. You can tell those emotions by actions, not words. You don't have to add those. Those are just filler words. So as a Christian author, don't use cuss words. Number 3, don't create vanilla pudding characters. What I mean by that is, don't make them bland. Like, not everybody is 100% good, and not everybody is 100% evil in real life. As a human being, I am layered with, I have flaws, I have character traits, I have hang-ups, I have dislikes, I have prejudices, I guess you would say. I have things in my life that are not smooth and easy, and if you're writing a Christian character, don't make them be like super Christian. They have no problems, they have no flaws, they have no idiosyncrasies. Don't do that, because that's not realistic. It's boring to read about Christian characters, or even bad characters, or the in-between characters. It's boring to read a one-level character where all they do is good. Give them something that they have to learn from, that they have to fight through. You know, make it fun, make it realistic. So yeah, so that's number 3. Number 4 is a big one, and this is hard to do. Don't be preachy. That's right. If your book is a 300-page sermon, you don't belong in the writing business. You belong in the ministry business. So it's best just to quit writing and go become a preacher at a church. Because nobody wants to sit down and read a sermon. They want to read a story. So your story should have a theme, something redemptive, something hopeful. It should have a theme, but then you should also layer in the gospel as needed and where it makes sense. You don't have to beat people over the head with the gospel. I don't know, for me, I've gotten a lot of feedback on my books, and people say that they really appreciate how I didn't browbeat people with the gospel. It plays an important part in my books, but I'm not going to be, my job isn't to preach. My job is to make a story that has a theme or a lesson and let the reader figure out what lesson they need to learn from it. So don't force feed the gospel to people through your book. If that's your goal, then you probably shouldn't be writing. Number 5, I know this is kind of like the anti of what I just said, but don't forget to add the gospel. Okay, this is a real pet peeve of mine. I have read so many Christian books that are labeled Christian books, and they have no gospel in them whatsoever. They have Buddhism, they have I don't know, other religions in them, but they do not have any gospel in them. And yet they're labeled as Christian books. If you're calling it a Christian book, then there has to be some Christianity in it. You can't have a Christian book without it. Otherwise, it's just a book. Because people who buy Christian books expect the gospel, God's word, the Bible, mentions about Jesus, different things. They expect those to be in the book. So you have to have some gospel in it. Otherwise, it's not a Christian book. So here's the big test. If the only reference to Jesus Christ in your novel is in conjunction with a curse word, your book is not a Christian book. It's not. Because Jesus isn't a curse word. He's our hope. And so you can be a Christian who also happens to be an author. But if your novels don't have the gospel in it, then you're not a Christian author. All right, so those are my 5 things. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, the whole thing about it is that, I don't know, someone once told me that I needed to put more gospel in my book, and that kind of jarred me, because I was like, you know, if they'd read the book, then they would have seen that there's a lot of gospel in there. It's just not blatant. It's just not overpowering. I don't feel the need to overpower people with God's word. And so my goal in writing my books is to create a world and something that people can relate to. And so I think that's what Christian authors should do. They should make it, they should definitely make it real, but don't be graphic in the lovemaking scenes. Don't curse. Don't make everybody bland, vanilla pudding characters. Don't preach at people. You know, weave it in carefully, but most importantly, don't forget to add some gospel in there, because ultimately I want people's lives to be changed with these books. And so I don't know, I'm kind of rambling now, but I hope you like this video. It's the first one that I've done since we've moved to Maui that's kind of an official book video. So yeah, so tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. You know, I just would love to hear from you. So yeah, so 5 things you shouldn't do as a Christian author. I'm probably going to be doing the opposite one in a week or two, so I will talk to you then. Bye. Mahalo.